it's crime, it's through the sex such a witch.
I had to get up and wash my hair and everything.
Yeah, same. Do you want to see my mug?
Oh yeah, I've got this mug today. Look at the size of it.
Can't see it.
What do you mean you can't see it?
Get it in the.
Oh, hang on,
frame.
it's really hot.
Caffeine. Oh, wicked witch. It should say wicked bitch.
It should on some people's, not mine.
That's for another day. No.
Hiya.
Fuck everyone else.
Right, we've got to hype ourselves up.
What's that? Yeah, what's that Wolf of Wall Street thing he does? He goes. That's too bad. But we can just sage.
I ain't got any. We should buy each other sage. Aren't you meant to not buy yourself sage?
Yes, that is what they say. So we'll buy each other some sage. We'll go to a spooky witch shop. We'll go to the
There's one near you, isn't there?
Creations.
Yes,
there is.
we'll go there.
Yes. Although there is a shop, I might just have a sneaky gander in there later when we go to town because there's like a witchy little shop. And I've never been in there. Yeah, but I'll buy you some sage if there's some sage in there.
Oh, thanks, babe.
I also have my little sign.
Ah, yay! Ow.
You can't really see it with all the other bits and bobs, but
Hang on, let me put me bloody goggles back on.
God, you can't see a fucking thing now.
He said that. I've got my friends here. Do you want to see them?
Go on then.
This is Bev.
Hi, Bev.
This is Barry.
Hi,
Bev
Barry.
and Barry Boo. But the dog
I've got one of them.
But the dog keeps trying to eat them.
You know, buddy.
I know. I'm sorry. I've named this one Bev after that ghost we were talking to last night. They didn't have names before, so this is in memory of Bev. Bev wanted to hug us, and then she told us not to go to the ancient Ram Inn because the devil's there and it's wicked. Because we were watching programs on it last night.
I'm going to need some more information about fucking Bev because I'm slightly concerned for your welfare.
I think Bev's all right. I don't think Bev's anything
Bev's
bad
dead.
about Bev. She's all
Bev's
right.
dead. She's talking
Bev
to you
is
from
dead.
beyond the grave.
But, she's looking out for us. I think good intentions of Bev. Bless Bev. God bless Bev.
God bless. God bless. Shalom. I have got you a mug. I'll bring it to you next Thursday.
Thank you kindly.
Are you settled? Take a deep breath.
Know.
Have a drink, for fuck's sake.
Is it too early for wine?
Welcome back, you sexy witch, to Such a Witch, the podcast where we stir the cauldron of the creepy, the cursed, and the truly disturbing. I'm Nat.
I am Lindsay, and today's episode is a true crime special, and a fair warning, this one is dark, tragic, and deeply unsettling.
Yeah, we're talking about the murder of Becky Watts. So I think a lot of people have heard about the murder of Becky Watts, although, when I did mention it to others, they were like, oh, I don't know about that one. So it was a case that kind of shocked the city of Bristol for sure, not just because of what happened, because who was responsible for actually her murder.
Yeah, so this episode includes themes of murder and family betrayal. So there may be some graphic details in this one too. So just listen to discretion. It's absolutely advised, and we will not be pointing joke towards Becky or anything like that or her family, but we will absolutely rip apart that piece of shit that committed this awful crime because they deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed they do. So grab a cuppa, get comfy, and maybe sage your room after this one. I think it's one of those. So, yeah, how you doing?
I'm all right.
It's been a long week, but...
It's been a very long week. We won't go into some of the details of said week. It's been a stressful one, I tell you. I've been self-medicating with Pinot Blush.
Mm-hmm. But you have also done a very helpful public announcement where you've kind of asked people and told people to take their antidepressants.
Oh, I did. And maybe that's because I was like, I definitely need mine. So I thought I'd just be like, I reckon that everybody else probably needs a reminder to take theirs. So, and I
It's
did
very
get
important.
quite some feedback. So I feel like they appreciated
What
my
feedback did you get?
service to them.
What feedback did you get?
Oh, it was just many alike.
Yes, it
Many.
was.
I was
Many
like,
alike. Many of
they were
you.
like that. They were like,
And I
yeah.
was like, yeah, I haven't taken mine. Thank you, Lindsay, for reminding
Yeah.
me.
Maybe I should
Take
do
your
one every
pills.
day. Just be like, took your antidepressant yet?
I took mine this morning. People
I
take
haven't
your
took mine
pills.
yet. Because I'm like an old lady that has like a little dusset box
Oh,
for all my drugs. And
all
it's
your
empty at the
ailments.
moment because I took my last one yesterday and I need to refill it. And that'll be one of my jobs today, my very interesting jobs for a Saturday. You know what? People say that, you know, when you get to your 30s, things start to slow down and it's not as fun. Don't listen to them. You could be doing something just as exciting as this.
It's a
I'm
constant
also,
party.
yeah, I mean, we could look, we could all be together, and all opening the things, and maybe I'll do a live of me refilling my doors.
Right, this one's for
This is
my
for the
20s.
crazy. This is for the sad.
This is for the knee.
This is for the lack of sunlight, which then makes me sad.
Just take your funny pills, okay? We're all friends here. This is a safe space. Take your pills. That's what they're there for.
Take
They
your
make you
pills.
feel better. They make you feel better.
No stigma here. No stigma.
No. And God knows, in this fucking world, you need something to kind of give you a little bit of a boost, don't you? If it's not if it's not medication, it's wine. If it's not wine, it's chocolate.
I've also got into old granny hobbies. I think I've just skipped like midlife crisis and just gone straight granny hobby, and I'm just like growing veg. So my dad has built me like a raised bed out the front of my house.
Oh my goodness!
I might go and buy some compost.
Wow.
So after my Dosset box, I'll go and
fill. Garden centre.
I'll go and get some. Go and get myself some compost for it, and then I'll plant my seedlings in there.
I do love a garden centre, mine.
I do.
Do you know?
Play some bangers.
They do play some bangers in the garden centre. We're not in tramps anymore.
It's because it's aiming for our age group.
Millennials.
The millennials with their naughties playlist.
You Gen Zers probably won't understand this, but you will someday.
You will?
You will.
You'll either get excessively into reading, gardening, or you want to run a marathon. That's kind of
what on my fucking list.
It's definitely on mine. My knees would just disintegrate, turn to dust.
Knees would just explode.
I'd just have stumps because they'd be like, "You tried to run."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, love, but that's just not going to happen.
I am on my last legs.
Literally.
No pun intended.
That's nursing that's done it for me. All those stomping around the ward.
All that kneeling down, 19 catheters.
Yeah. Taking off socks.
Or the inhalement of
dust. I reckon it's as bad as asbestos, inhaling those foot flakes.
We have got massively off track, but we just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of an insight into our week and just how our minds were.
It's just been one of those weeks, you know, and I'm in a better mood today than I was yesterday, so lucky for you.
Good. I mean, your mood's about to be killed while you were what we're going to talk about.
I know. Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
But that's fine. You know, we're not trying to bring down what happened to her, but also we did have to talk about the important things about gardening and skin flakes. So
is that the sub name of the episode is gardening and skin flakes?
Skin flakes, foot flakes.
God, look, it's not
foot dust.
It's a real problem when you have to kind of get on the floor and clean up skin flakes.
Oh, they're like, can you change my socks? And you're like,
well, you take your shoes off at the end of the day and you look at the bottom of your shoe and it's just skin.
Stuck to your tights.
You know you've made it then. Anyway. Right, before we talk about this fucking awful crime, I think it's important that we talk about Becky.
Yeah. Rebecca, known to everyone as Becky. Becky Watts was a 16-year-old schoolgirl from Bristol, and she was described as bright, kind and creative, and someone who loved music and dancing and her friends, and she was described by her family as just a very loving girl.
Yeah, so
Bless
she
her.
was, I know, she was close to her family. So she lived with her dad, Darren, and her stepmother, Angie, since she was little. It sounds like she also had regular contact with her birth mother, and she had a brother who lived with their mother and saw them often. So at the time of the murder, she was attending training college. I'm not quite sure what she was doing at
Yeah.
college, but she seemed to enjoy it. She at home she also lived with another person who kind of was in and out of her life, was a stepbrother called Nathan, and he was around 12 years older than
Mm.
Becky. So he lived with his maternal grandmother, so he lived with Angie's mother. I think they had kind of like a bit of a tumultuous upbringing. Nathan had a few problems, but ultimately Becky lived with Darren and Angie in their house in Bristol. So Angie was diagnosed with MS, not I think fairly later on in life, but Becky absolutely loved her stepmother and she would do things to help her around the house.
Yeah. So yeah, by all accounts, Becky was like relatively normal sort of teenager, whole life ahead of her as any other teenager would, and just seemed to be just happy and different sort of family dynamics, but it was still a nice sort of family environment for her to live in, and that's kind of what makes this story quite so sad and
Yeah.
heartbreaking. Is that I think they all generally seemed quite happy, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, every household will have like their ups and downs. That's just normal life. But Becky was a teenager. You can imagine hormones were
Yeah.
raging,
Oh
and she
god, yeah.
actually,
Any
yeah, just
teenager, like, and even like the sort of family dynamics of like life now doesn't just have like a mum and a dad and then the siblings and they stay together forever. Like there's,
yeah, no,
sort of a, what's it called? Merged families, different families
yeah,
merging together, stepbrothers, stepmothers, that's just how life generally works nowadays. It's
yeah,
kind of, if anything, uncommon to just have like the 2.4 children
absolutely.
families.
I think that's really rare. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, like single parents, dad's doing single care, mom's doing single care. They go to grandparents. It's all
Yeah.
very different. Two
Takes a
moms, two
village, doesn't it?
dads. It does take a village. And I mean, I think at this time for Becky, in her early teens going into kind of the later when she was kind of when she tragically died, she was actually diagnosed with anorexia, which I think is a huge thing to
Oh
deal
yeah.
with when you're a teenager. So she had a lot of work to overcome that, but she did. She had moments where she would kind of struggle, and she was under, I think the family as a whole were known to social services, so they had some social services kind of input.
Mhm.
But I mean, for such a young girl, and she was such a beautiful girl as well. What a thing
Yeah,
to go
it's
through.
so sad, isn't it? I think I watched a documentary on her. I think it was the one that you watched, and she met some of her close friends,
Yeah,
didn't she? Because they all sort of had similar sort of issues with eating disorders and whatnot. But yeah, oh God, I remember being 16.
it's rough. It's
I couldn't want to go
rough.
back to that.
I think when I mean, compared to like now, how life is, when you become a mom, full-time work, bills, mortgages, blah blah blah. When you're
Mm,
16, you do have kind of like a sense of a bit of freedom, and you're coming into yourself and kind of establishing who you are. But
yeah,
then it's just manifested in horrendous hormones that you don't sometimes know how to deal with. Like,
yeah.
I
I
don't.
think you think it's almost like because I remember thinking that I knew everything. I genuinely thought that
Yeah.
I was super mature and I knew everything. Whereas even like looking back now to even when I was like in my early 20s, I didn't know what the bloody hell I was doing. Our
And
frontal lobe wasn't fully developed and it was
it
very
isn't.
clear.
But
Very clear.
isn't it mad though that at 16, like obviously Becky at this time will be kind of doing GCSEs or thinking about prepping for GCSEs,
Stress.
and you at that 16 you kind of having to think about what you want to do for the rest of your life. It's
Mm,
it's so
yeah.
much pressure.
We don't know what we want to do now.
No, what we do,
36, we
we
do.
want to do this, but we've got bills to pay.
Mm, God damn it.
But it's
I,
it's a very
I
confusing
wouldn't want to be
time.
16 now. I mean, I've got two girls, you've got one. My eldest is sort of coming up to go into high school in September, and it's scary. It's like
Yeah.
social media is just like an absolute minefield. I'm so glad that we didn't really have that when we were at school. Like, what did we have? Like Bebo or whatever, like MSN
MySpace.
Messenger or MySpace.
Right.
But it was nothing. We didn't have it on our phones. Like, it wasn't a thing. Like, we'd have to log
No.
on to the bloody dial-up internet and
AOL.
actively access it. Whereas now it's there all the time. And I can just imagine like you'd see things on the internet now, like on any forum, and be like, oh, they've got their life together, or they look like this, or they've got this, or they're doing that. And I don't think we had that. It was very much you knew who you knew. I didn't know what other kids were doing from other schools. I don't know.
Mate.
Why would I know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know any of them until went to college or whatever. But now it's like everybody knows everything about everyone, and you need to be seen to like be doing what they're doing or better.
Yeah,
And it's just so hard, isn't it, to try
I think, especially because we have girls, and I'm sure it's equally kind of more equally concerning for parents of boys as well. But you know, there's such a kind of image that's thrown out there that girls should look a certain way or act a certain way, and I just hate it. Like, I think when I was 16, I think I had a Nokia 3310. You could play Snake on it, which was elite. But you would just text, and then you get home, go on MSN messengers, chat to your friends, update your MySpace top 8, because that was the big thing. Like,
but those would just be people from your school that
Yes.
you knew. Like, it wouldn't be strange
them
random
all.
people. I wouldn't like some of these things. Like, if I watch documentaries, be like, they had like 200,000 followers. Who the fuck are these people? Who do they know? That I don't know 200,000 people.
No.
I'd have like 100 mates from school. And that would be that.
And then you've got people kind of thinking that, okay, fair, if you put something out there on social media now, it's out there for people to comment on. But they just have to be absolute pricks about it. And, you know, or whatever. It's really concerning.
So this was in 2015, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, she would have been, 10 years younger than us, wouldn't she?
She would have been about 26, 27
26 now, yeah. So we're 36. So, yeah. So I think when we perhaps left school into college, I think it really started kicking off, didn't it, when we were about 18? I remember getting a Facebook account when I was about 17 or 18. Like, I was an adult pretty much by then, but I can imagine having it throughout the whole of your childhood. Like, me trying to think, like, protect my girls and be like, oh, what do I want them to have access to, and what do I want them to be able to talk to people through?
So I don't know about you. I don't think we've ever had a conversation like about kind of first boyfriends and whatever. So I remember like my first kind of boyfriend that I would consider, you know, having been in love with, I guess, around 16, and then I think we broke up like when I was like 17. But it was still kind of raw for me when I was still 18. So when I got onto Facebook and stuff, and just seeing people kind of post stuff about, you know, going into a club, and then they post videos of like him kissing a girl, and I was just
like you can see everything, can't you? You know everything about everybody, yeah.
So kind of a little bit traumatizing, low key, just kind of.
Because usually
why am I seeing this?
Yeah, and because usually it'd be like out of sight, out of mind. You can just move on with your life, but they're always there. I mean, my first boyfriend, bless him, I think I was about 14, he was 16 or something like that, and we were together probably for a year. But it was harmless, you know. It was, you know, you think it's love, but it's not. You know, that sort of thing. Then after that boyfriend, I had an awful boyfriend who I was with for years. He was just horrible. Boo! We think he's a poohead.
You're a dickhead.
Oh my god, he still is. His poor wife, not my problem now.
Commiserations.
Yeah, he's definitely shown his true colours to some certain people. And then I met Matt, and we've been together, 16 years, and he's lovely. But oh god, it's just, I can just imagine having social media like it is now after that breakup with the bloody awful one.
Yeah.
Oh god. I mean, I had to delete it on everything anyway of whatever existed then. I don't think we had did WhatsApp exist then? I was probably 18 or 19. I don't know.
I remember a stage like 19, 20 when Blackberries came out.
Oh
and
yeah, I didn't have
BBM.
one, so I'm glad I
I love
didn't.
my Blackberry.
Yeah, people
Fantastic.
say that still now.
BBM was
BBM
elite.
Messenger.
Yeah, it was elite, mate. You could change the colours on different like contacts coming through, so you know who was texting you by
That's
the
clever.
colour of the light that flashed. We digress.
Anyway, so should we talk about the next bit about sort of the dynamics of this stepbrother?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Becky had a stepbrother, so his name was Nathan Matthews. I'm trying not to spend too much time on this dirtbag, but the kind of lore is important. But fuck him, he's a dickhead. Oh my God.
I'm sorry,
Even your microphone doesn't
I
like
just
him.
punched it. That's why I do apologise.
Fucking Nathan. So
I hate him that much.
You will. You will. So a little bit of background is that he seems, understatement of the century, troubled. So he's not in work much because he has a condition called fibromyalgia, which meant he was in a lot of pain a lot of the time. I think, if I read correctly, he did some kind of time. I don't think it was proper army. I think it might have been the TA army because there was some pictures of him in army gear. He was also diagnosed with depression and some anger issues. So all in all, he seems like an absolute delight.
Yeah, what an absolute pleasure. So yeah, he sounds like a bellend, doesn't he, really? He seems obviously quite jealous of the relationships his mum had with Becky. So sounds like he just took out his frustrations on Becky because of that. It was quite bullying, essentially. And then obviously it sounds like he's part of the reason why she sort of developed this anorexia. As obviously people tend to develop anorexia as a control thing, isn't it? When they can't control other aspects of their life, that's what they can control. So, and he would say horrible things to her and just really try and sort of knock down her self-esteem. He sounds like an absolute twat, doesn't he? What a horrible man.
A proper pleb, like. So obviously Becky and Angie had a really good relationship, despite whatever Nathan might think about that, but we'll get on to that later on. And clearly the dynamic of Becky living with Angie and Nathan not living with Angie is a massive cause for Nathan's bitterness towards Becky. So yeah,
it'd be interesting to hear what the reason why he didn't live with his mum when he was a child. You know what I mean? I know you said that they had like a relationship where there was a lot of frictions, but like I wonder what was the underlying reason why he went and lived with his grandmother.
I think Angie struggled with Nathan's behaviour and whether Nathan was a bit more settled and a bit more kind of well behaved at his grandmother's. I think it was a decision that Angie took to kind of, you know, probably for his like welfare more than anything, to kind of not move him out of a place where he felt comfortable in. But yeah, Nathan would just call Becky fat and pick on her for that.
They take it so literally then at that age as well, don't they?
Hugely.
Rather than just being like, "Oh, fuck off, Nathan. Like, who are you?" But when you're 16, you really take it to heart, don't you?
He's just a terror by the sounds of it. I mean, whatever kind of childhood he's had, okay, but you know, he sounds like an absolute fucking nightmare. So he seems to get in a lot of bother, especially when he became older in his late teens and then early 20s. I remember Becky's dad did a book after this, kind of like his memories of Becky and their growing up and things like that. And in this book, there's a section where Darren has a recollection of an incident with Nathan. So, and I mean, it's a major red flag here. So bearing in mind, Nathan, at this time of this incident, he's 20, and apparently he turned up at Darren and Angie's house in his car, and he had a couple of 12-year-old girls in the car with him.
What?
Yeah.
12? Also,
12.
What a 12-year-old doing? Where did he find these 12-year-olds? I would tell you what, my 12-year-old wouldn't be bloody going in anyone's car.
But this is it.
What the fuck?
It's whatever parenting is going on there.
Where did he find these children?
They obviously been hanging out somewhere.
Oh my God.
And he's met these 12-year-old girls.
Oh my
Darren
word.
remembers that, like, it almost seemed like Nathan wanted to bring them into the house. And
what?
Darren quite rightly was like,
yeah,
no, get those girls back home. And
whose girls were they? Whose children are they?
Whose children are they?
Hi, Darren. Do you mind if I just bring these 12-year-old kids in that I've just like found and been driving around in my car. Is that okay?
No, the fuck you can't.
No.
Piss off. Get them home,
My
you freak.
God.
Yeah. Very weird behaviour.
Oh, I mean, good for Darren. What the
Oh.
fuck? I bet looking back on now, I bet they're like, this was such a warning, because that is just unreal.
It's kind of, it leads not nicely into the next bit, because obviously we're going to bring in Shauna Hall, which is his girlfriend at the time of the murder. And how he met Shauna is Nathan was 22 and Shauna was 15.
My God, what is happening?
Yeah.
Did she not? Is she like, she was vulnerable?
Yeah, so I think he's very good at manipulation. So he's obviously got a knack at manipulating young girls, grooming them, shall we say. I think it's fair to say. I think it's so Shauna sounded like she had a horrible childhood. She was, I think, in foster care, had quite abusive parents, or especially a mother, I think. And then there was a section where it was reported that Shauna had stated that she got raped when she was 13.
God.
So it's rough, but you know, I think how Nathan is, you can kind of understand why Becky might be uncomfortable around him. So Becky actually kind of confided in her friends that, you know, Nathan was just always being horrible and he'd pass it off as joking, but then he would like say he was going to kill her, like touch her thigh when she was sat next to him. And bearing in mind, Becky was 8 years old at this point.
Oh my word. Oh, it makes you feel sick, doesn't it? Put him in the bin. Horrible.
If they're in the bin, Nathan, you're fucking nonce. So I mean, it's just so scary that people like Nathan Matthews just wander around. Like it's really unnerving. I mean, in my opinion, I think he's a paedophile. He has definitely a predilection for young girls.
It's amazing that this wasn't picked up before. Like, was nobody questioning that he's hanging around with these young children, and then his girlfriend was also a minor, and like, why was that not an issue?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like the mindset of people that were involved. Like, I don't think Shauna had a very stable kind of home environment where anyone would really pick her up. So
like
all of them are
advocate
known
for her.
Exactly, yeah. So all three of them, so Becky, Shauna, and Nathan, are all known to social services for one reason or another. And I think that's why after Becky was murdered, there was a review into the services. And I read it, I was reading it the other day. It's quite an interesting read. There was a review into the services and how, you know, what did they miss? Is that something they missed that could have prevented this from happening?
It's always what if, isn't it?
It is, and it's, you know, it's a really hard question to answer, like what if, because it's a lifetime of thinking, did I do something wrong? And it's it's rough. I mean, I think
I'm sure her parents, I'm sure her dad and everybody was thinking, what if we sort of acknowledged that there was a problem earlier? Bless him. I bet that would eat away at him.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, how can you
can't predict it, can you? But
how can you predict someone's state of mind? I mean, clearly Nathan's got Sean evolved into a lot of fantasies, but I'll get into that later. He's an absolute rotter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, my God, a lot, and bless them, because it's just that story of, sorry, I need a drink. It's just that story of like people being vulnerable and people knowing that they are like Nathan and totally exploiting that. It's just evil, isn't it? Because like anyone that with any sort of like love in their heart would go, these people need a bit of support and guidance, but instead they're thinking, what can I get out of these people?
Exactly. How can
what can I get out of these children? It's just disgusting.
Arsehole.
So we'll move on to sort of what's happened, like what actually happened to Becky. So it was, we said it was 2015. So it was February 19th, 2015. And then Becky was reported missing as she failed to turn up to school.
Yeah, so her family initially believed that she might have stayed over at a friend's house. It's something she'd done before. Angie on that day had actually gone for a hospital appointment and that was around 11 o'clock. So Angie's mother took her for this appointment. So she wasn't in the house, but according to Shauna and Nathan, when they had gone round their house after Angie had left, and according to them, Becky was heard leaving the house.
So, but then the hours passed. Obviously, concerns grew, and Becky apparently hadn't taken like her phone charger, money, makeup, clothes, like all the things that like a typical teenager just wouldn't leave their house without if they were going to go anywhere. So yeah, that sort of I think was concerning for the family, because they were like, she wouldn't leave without these things.
Definitely not. No, she's like, going away somewhere. But by the 20th, which was the Friday, none of her friends knew where she was. They were around her house going, "Oh, we've been texting Becky. She's not texting back. She always texts back."
Yeah,
we just
they're
wondered
like
if she's
glued to their
okay.
phone, aren't they?
Absolutely. So Darren and Angie quite rightly called the police, and it escalated into a major missing person investigation. So police, media, all the community in the Bristol area where they lived, they were all searching for answers. So Darren and Becky's maternal grandmother did a press conference. I don't know if you've seen it. I think you might have done when it was in that documentary.
Yeah,
Darren just looks distraught and
yeah,
just pleading for information. It's just horrid.
yeah. I think they acknowledged that. I think the police took it very seriously, because they sort of acknowledged that she was deemed quite vulnerable. So
Yes.
they were. It wasn't like, it was out of her character to do something like this, wasn't it? And then obviously
thank
with all
God
other
they
things.
took it seriously.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of media presence in this case, which I don't think had been seen much before. Like, 2015, there's a kind of a bit more kind of importance of social media. So they actually started a hashtag, which was Find Becky. And that was engaged with over 4 million times, and that was worldwide. So it was quite huge.
It does make you wonder though sometimes whether the media actually helps or hinders the investigation, because I think that people have good intentions, but it's not always actually helpful. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a great method of getting the word out.
Absolutely.
But isn't always received like it should do. I don't know. Like you said, it's treated it as almost like an entertainment value.
When you search for Becky Watts, and although it's massively important not to just remember Becky as a murder victim, obviously, but just the kind of the nuances behind her story and the lessons that were obviously learned from her story in relation to failures and things like that, I think are massively important to cover, and that she doesn't get forgotten in the kind of the amount of cases that go on that are quite similar. But I think you're absolutely right in relation to the media, because I think now there just seems to be a lot of trial by media where people are automatically kind of seen to be guilty of things if they've, but then again, media has helped in kind of highlighting some dodgy characters like, Ian Huntley. When Holly and Jessica went missing, he did that kind of press interviews, and everyone was just like,
it's like he liked the attention though. He liked the fact that whatever he'd done had caused this media frenzy.
Yeah, that's like Chris Watts in America when he murdered his wife and his children.
They love it. They're like, oh, they're getting all the attention, and they love being known. I suppose a lot of murderers love the fact that they are known, and they do it because people will talk about them, and they don't care that they're in prison or whatever. They're famous.
Yeah. Well, rest assured, Nathan, if you're fucking listening to this, mate, we don't think highly of you. Actually, we're going to drag your name through the mud.
Yeah. Hope he gets bummed in prison.
Prison justice.
I think then the police attention sort of turned to where Becky lived rather than sort of anything more external. So her father's home, and sort of like more specifically the people that were at the time were sort of around her at the time of the disappearance, so who was coming and going. And apparently the last people to see her was her stepbrother Nathan Matthews and his girlfriend Shauna. So I think there was a lot of questions around what they were up to.
So initially it appeared that they were being helpful with the police investigation, like they went for interviews and things like that. But I think one of the things the police said is that they were quite tricky to get hold of. Although they got hold of them eventually, they were difficult to get hold of.
How convenient.
Yes, indeed. I wonder why. But then alarm bells for the police started ringing when they got them into the interviews, and their stories were just pretty much word for word the same. It's almost like they've rehearsed what they're going to say.
Yeah, it's funny that when they know every little detail, it's like, no, I can't remember what I bloody had for breakfast yesterday, let alone, certain things, because it was like really like meaningless shit that they were remembering. Like, I
Exactly.
blinked 5 times and I washed my hands and I,
It's exactly what Shauna said.
yeah,
Just pointless crap. Like she
like,
came
why
in
would
from
you wouldn't
outside.
remember that, would you? You would
No, of
just
course you're not.
wouldn't.
You're not going to tell the police, oh yeah, I did this, and then I came in from outside, washed my hands.
There's 10 steps from the the front
What
door
the fuck
to
are
the
you
sink.
talking about? The the police weren't having it in the slightest. They were
They
so
must hear this all the
astonished,
time.
of course. So I think while this is happening, while they're like interviewing these two cretins, the police and also the kind of community around Becky's house doing massive searches. They're going off doing like searching like rivers and woods and things like that. They really kind of were invested in trying to find Becky and just, get some answers.
So then they thought that obviously Nathan and Shauna were hiding something because of all these really bizarre stories that they're coming out with that were sort of concerningly and suspiciously the same.
Oh, your story is
Hmm.
similar, like word for
Not
word
fooling
verbatim.
anyone, guys.
No, so the police arrested Nathan and Shauna on the 28th of February in connection with the disappearance of Becky, but they actually arrested them for kidnapping at that point. So they did. So obviously they've arrested them. They've got means to get a warrant and go and search their house. So they did an extensive search of the house, which was disgusting.
It was
Like,
a shithole, wasn't it? How could
fuck
anybody live like
me.
that?
So it's the only way, I don't know, listeners, if you kind of haven't seen any documentary relating to kind of Becky Watts, if you've not seen the house, so they live in this kind of, I think it's a 2-bed house. It would be a lovely house if they just kind of kept it nice, but there's
It
shit
was like a
everywhere. And I
hoarder's
mean,
house,
it's a
wasn't it?
hoarder's house. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like old washing machines just in the hallway. The police said they didn't even realise there was a downstairs bathroom because they just couldn't get to it because it was just cluttered.
Oh.
And they've got children. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So
Yeah.
this house was a shithole, all except the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom, and even they said like it was, they were either super like really obsessed with having a very clean bath because that's where they wash, or something has happened and they've cleaned the shit out of it basically, because it was the cleanest bathroom you've ever seen in your life. It's like it was a mirror, and it makes you think something dodgy's gone on here, and they've cleaned the crap out of it to just hide the evidence.
So they're not very smart people. So essentially, the bathroom was like around the toilet. There was just shit everywhere. There was just, I
Oh,
can't
it
even
was
remember.
gross.
There was gross. And then the police kind of crime scene footage just kind of panned round towards the bath, and it was just pristine, cleaner than my bath currently. Like it was.
To be fair, I do need to clean my house. It is a bit
Yeah,
of
me too.
a mess.
The police, so they kind of assumed at that point Becky wasn't alive anymore, and it was confirmed when they kind of went through a few more drawers, found a receipt for a B&Q shop. So B&Q in the UK is like a hardware store, so it sells tools and shit. And they had a receipt for a lot of cleaning products and a circular saw.
Oh yeah, and in the documentary it says, doesn't it, about the circular saw? They literally took it completely apart, and then they found things on the circular saw. So then obviously the police go to the pair of them with this information. I mean, they can't really deny it now, can they?
Well, Shauna stands by her story. So Shauna stands by the fact that she doesn't know anything about anything. She doesn't know where Becky is, not involved. But Nathan, I think he knows the jig is up. He knows, and he provides a full written confession to the police. And they read it out in the interview room, and he just covers his ears and he puts his head down like he doesn't want to listen to it. It's very
like that. That's the one thing that would bother him, not him fucking chopping her up with a circular saw. That's fine.
I'm gonna just read a snippet of his confession. So it says, I, Nathan Charles Matthews, accept that I am responsible for the death of Rebecca Watts. On the 19th of February 2015, I attended 18 Crown Hill with my girlfriend Shauna Hall. In my care, I had a large bag, a stun device, handcuffs, tape, and a mask. I had developed an idea to scare Rebecca by kidnapping her. I wanted to kidnap her to teach her a lesson. I believed that she was selfish and her behaviour towards my mother was a risk to her health. Upon entering the property, we went to the front room. Shauna said she wanted a cigarette and went into the garden. I went to the boot of my car, took out the bag, and went upstairs, knocking on Rebecca's door. She replied, "What?" or "Hello," and I said, "Can I see you a minute?" Rebecca opened the door. I am wearing a mask. I cannot be sure in which order of things happened immediately after you came to the door, but I used the items to subdue Rebecca. But during the struggle, my mask slipped and Rebecca was able to see my face. This caused me to panic and I strangled her while she was partially in the bag.
What an absolute monster. See, he says his motive was to teach Becky a lesson for, I don't know, just being a normal teenager by the sounds of it. I just don't think that's enough because, I mean, funny, but like, if his mask slipped, he could just go, "Oh, it's a joke. I just want to scare you." Like, I don't understand how he's gone from kidnapping her. I
Yeah.
mean, what was he going to do with her once he kidnapped her? It doesn't wash with me that I'm going to kidnap her, teach her a lesson. There's a big difference from teaching someone a lesson and trying to scare them to murdering them. And he went with all this equipment and this bag, and he went with the purpose to do something else. It
I
just
know.
doesn't add up, does it? I just don't know
It,
what he's talking about.
it's utter bollocks. He tries to make out that he was fed up with the way Becky was treating his mom, like she was leaving things on purpose on the floor for her to trip over and stuff like that. But, she's a stroppy teenager at best. And Angie even said there was nothing wrong with the way she was treating me. And it was fact Nathan was more awful to his mother than Becky was. So rein it
That's not a
fucking in.
surprise.
No,
It doesn't make any sense. Like, from what we've heard, I mean, even if his mother is saying that there's not an issue, kids are they're not self-aware. My kids leave stuff around all the time.
Yes, of course they
They'll
do.
take a lid off like a yogurt and just like leave it on the side. You're like, the
Yes.
bin's right there. Like, they don't care. That's just not how their brain works. And I don't think a 16-year-old, particularly, she's not concerned about making this woman's life a misery. She's more bothered about what she looks like, what people think of her, what she's going to do on the weekend. She's not remotely asked about that. And I think it would be a lot more apparent. It would be very clear if she was somehow abusing her stepmother, which, her dad doesn't think that. Her own stepmother doesn't think that. It's just an excuse for him to just do it. And like you said, all these other stories that you've heard before, was he going to do something else?
Well,
Was that their intention? And they said,
yeah.
"Oh, so he's murdered her because he saw her face." It just doesn't add up. He could have just totally just gone, "Sorry, joke's up. I just wanted to, and then he just goes, "Oh, I'll just strangle her then," and then stuffs her into a duffel bag and puts her in the boot. And like, where's this Shauna bitch? Where's she? What's she doing?
She's in the garden having a ciggy,
Oh,
apparently.
she doesn't notice any of
Yeah.
this then.
Fuck off with it, Shauna. Like he takes Becky's body to the boot, and then bearing in mind that Angie. So this has all happened, they think, because there's a last text from Becky to her boyfriend or a friend. So she texts a friend around just like 11:10, then her boyfriend around about 11:15 or something, and then no communication from Becky after that. So they think it's around 11:20 where Becky dies. So Angie comes back from hospital at 12:45, and she's just walked past Nathan's car and he's already killed Becky, and Becky's body's in the boot. Like, it's just so fucking
It's just
creepy.
horrible, isn't it? Like, she's in there, they don't even know. And then the fact that they then take her back to a different address to their skanky house and dismember her in the bath. Like, it's like so premeditated. They knew. I just don't understand why they wanted her dead. Like, it just doesn't. Even
Doesn't
now,
make
it
sense.
just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And I mean, even Sean kind of going like, "Oh, I've got no idea what he was doing up in the bathroom. Like, I heard the saw going, and like neighbours
She's
heard
doing
a
some
fucking
DIY.
saw. That's exactly what he told her. Oh, apparently according to her, that he was doing some DIY. He was sorting the bathroom out.
So she didn't
But
notice him fucking dragging a body up the stairs.
full of shit. Shauna's DNA was actually found on a mask and goggles inside where they were attached to like skin. So fuck off, love. But yeah, they put Becky up. They packed her remains which was like 8 separate pieces, put them in cat litter and cling film and then shopping bags, and then just put them into like suitcases, and then took those bags and suitcases around to their friend's house to ask them
Oh
to
my
store
God.
them in their like garden shed. And apparently the friends had no idea what was in the cases.
You'd be mortified, wouldn't you?
Fuck me.
Remind me to never store anything for anyone. Yeah, again, I don't
I'd
think
be
I
like,
know many murderers. I think my
Goodness, can you
friends are
just
pretty
store
level-headed.
this kind of
This
family
suspicious
size
duffel
set
bag.
of family suitcases? Can you just keep them in
Yeah.
your shed?
Don't look inside, though. Don't look inside.
There's no bodies. No bodies in there. Me.
So, yeah, let's get real. Like, he murdered Becky because he fancied, you know, her making some advances onto her, didn't he? Because he was obsessed with her. And she, you know, it sounds like they had a strange relationship growing up.
Yeah.
I think from what I heard from the documentary that I watched, it was like they were close, but also he was quite controlling of the things that she did and didn't do. And that's like not a normal sort of stepbrother, stepsister sort of dynamic, is it?
No, I think it's you know, by all accounts, Becky loved Nathan. Like she really adored him, and apparently her first word was Nathan.
She really idolised him. She saw him as a brother, didn't she? Yeah, he did not see her as a sister. He, once again, was obviously seen her as a young, vulnerable girl that he could exploit.
Absolutely.
He's horrible. What an absolute scumbag.
Piece of shit. So, yeah, he was clearly attracted to Becky, and she just wasn't having any of it. And then he had this warped plan in his mind that he was going to act out his fantasies with his fucking stepsister. But I mean, Becky's remains were found on the 3rd of March, and then Nathan was arrested for murder. And then the 4 other people that were involved in kind of assisting an offender, so the friends that had stored all these bags for him. So Shauna wasn't initially arrested for murder.
So you know the friends? Did the friends get done for storing the things?
Yeah, assisting an offender, yeah.
So, but how did they know? Did they have to prove that? Did they have to prove otherwise that they didn't know?
I think they, from what I understand, they might have been kind of when they had counsel, like lawyers and stuff. They might have just said, "Look, just plead guilty to assisting an offender, and you'll get less time." Because I don't.
Shit, can you imagine? I'd be fucking livid if that had happened to me. And you thought, "Oh, I'll do someone a favour." They were probably thinking, "Yeah, there's no way they can store anything in their house. It's an absolute tip. Yeah, stick it in my shed, whatever." And then you get done for assisting a murderer because
I mean, we're
he's a
going off.
nutcase.
We're going off. They actually didn't know.
Yeah, what if they did? I don't know.
What if they did? Like or one of them did, or something like that. Because I think they lived with their partners, so it was the guys and the partners that were the 4. Fucking crazy, isn't it? So Shauna, no, you're fine. Shauna wasn't arrested for murder yet, but she was eventually arrested for murder, conspiracy to kidnap, and preventing the lawful burial of a body. And then Nathan apparently was also slapped with a few other charges, including sexual assault and voyeurism. Because you want to be extra weird, Nathan.
Oh my God, he is such a prick. And Shauna, I'm sorry, honey, but like, what were you thinking? How dare you? What? Fuck. What's wrong with these people? So we go on to the trial and the sentencing. So the trial happened in October 2015, and Nathan Matthews and Shauna Hall went to trial. The murder was described as we thought, which was sexually motivated because of some text messages found between Shauna and Nathan, and they were a bit dodge, weren't they?
I mean, these two aren't the brightest page,
or
aren't the brightest bulb in the box. Like, they are thick as pig shit. So they had some rather gross text messages exchanged of the lead up to Becky's murder. So an example was Shauna texted Nathan one day and just went to Costco, which is like a shop.
Yeah, it's like a corner shop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's banging. They have great crisps in Costco. Just went into Costco and saw a pretty petite girl, almost knocked her out to bring her home. LOL.
Laugh out loud.
Lol.
Oh,
So
oh my
Nathan
God.
replied, "Do it." And then
Oh,
this is just some of the texts that,
oh
because
my God. So,
Shauna had
yeah, of
deleted them all, and then
course
the
she
police were
did.
just like, "What are these text messages?" And suddenly she's just like, "No comment,
Not
no
so
comment."
innocent now, are you, Shauna, you silly Billy? You silly goose. So, from what I gather, is that Nathan was found guilty of murder and he got a minimum of 33 years. Still not enough.
Mm-mm.
Even though this was apparently one of the longest minimum terms for someone of his age. And because he was around 28 when he murdered, because he was around 28 when she was murdered, and Shauna was sentenced to 17 years for manslaughter and assisting an offender. I'm not sure how it's manslaughter, but anyway.
Mm-mm. No, I mean they both pleaded guilty, so I think they just did it maybe just to get a
Yeah.
reduction in their sentence. But eventually, I mean, you just can't put a time on it, can you? It's just fucking horrendous. And I'm sure all Darren really wants is 5 minutes alone with them in a room. And, it's even harder that it's his wife's son that did it.
Are
How do
they,
you come back from that?
yeah, I mean, are they still together?
I hope so. I really do. I think
I
everyone was
mean,
amazed. I think Darren's family were just like, you need to leave Angie. You can't be around her now that Nathan's done this. And
but
Darren was
it's
like,
like,
no,
why punish Angie for something that her
exactly.
son's done? Like, she didn't know, did she? If anything, she's probably absolutely mortified that this person she's created has done something to this innocent girl.
Mhm.
It's that whole nature versus nurture debate, isn't
Yeah,
it?
big time. Big.
So, I mean, this case stays with people because it's just, I think it's the fact that you should feel safe in your own
Yeah,
home, surrounded by your own family.
yeah,
Yeah, I think you always think that if somebody's going to get murdered, it's going to be a bit more ominous and a bit more sort of dangerous. You shouldn't feel like that at
yeah.
home.
No. She wasn't walking home in the dark on her own, which you
No.
would feel like you were going to be murdered.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll cover the case of like Sarah Everard, which is just another
Oh my
fucking
God. Yeah.
horrendous crime. But she wasn't in a risky situation. She was literally in her own bedroom, in her own house, and someone that who should never have been a threat to her. So, I mean, the
Well,
lasting
she'd
impact
trust
on
him,
the
wouldn't
family.
she? She'd trust
Yeah,
him.
why wouldn't she? I mean, I know they kind of have like a weird thing growing up, but maybe she just thought, oh, that's just
Sibling
siblings. Like,
dynamic. Yeah.
yeah, and the ramifications for the family are just massive. And I remember, and just from the whole of Darren's book, it's a great read, it's a heartbreaking read. But Darren actually went to the mortuary to see Becky when they found her, so he wanted to go and see her. I mean, really brave on his part. I don't think I could do it. And the mortuary techs had obviously done what they could to kind of put her back together. So they sewed her back together,
Oh my word.
and Darren said that they try to cover up her injuries. She's quite bruised in the face and stuff like that, but they cover up her body, and where the shroud is or the sheet is, Darren said he could still see where they decapitated her, so he could see like the line and the stitching. And that's
Can you
just
imagine?
burned into his memory now.
Yeah. Like, that's not the last image you want to see of your child,
Yeah,
but also, I mean, I'd feel the same. Like, I'd want to see them one last time, wouldn't you? Oh, it's just
yeah,
awful for him. You don't even want to think about it, do you? Because it must just be like horrible for him. I mean, it just raises like uncomfortable conversations about sort of like how you can trust people and like coercion and sort of how these people sort of hide in plain sight. Like, is it usually the people that you should least suspect? I don't know.
yeah,
They're trusted members of your family, and I think she obviously saw him as a brother figure. She's, like you
yeah,
said, known him her whole life. Why would she not trust him? And it's difficult when you're that age. Like I mentioned about previous relationships, you'd always go and you see things. You're like, why would anybody put up with that? Why would anybody allow somebody to treat them like that? Whether it's controlling or whatever. But when you're in that situation, it's
hmm
almost because it's not all bad. He would have done this, like, do the horrible things, but then they try and outweigh it by like love bombing you or
yeah,
doing really nice things for you. So you think, oh, well, the good times are really good, but the bad times are really bad. And they worm their way back into this thing of being like, oh, but remember the good times. Forget about what I did. I'm
yeah.
really sorry. I'll change. And I can imagine that he was very much like that. and you're
Absolutely.
young and easily influenced, and you've got this person, this trusted figure that's older than you, telling you what's true and what's not. Like, why would she not believe him? So
Absolutely.
sad.
And it just reminds us, like, not, when young people kind of talk about this kind of thing, and they kind of say, they go and tell someone that they are uncomfortable, you have to believe them. And I don't, Becky didn't tell anyone else but her friends that Nathan was making her uncomfortable. But maybe if she had, I mean, could anyone have done anything about it? Maybe there would
But
have
it's,
been,
I don't know, because like maybe as well, it's, she probably questioned whether it's just in her head, because she's probably thinking, well, why would he be trying to do anything bad to me?
to
You
hurt
know,
me. Yeah.
yeah, like she's probably just thinking, oh, that was a bit weird, but it made me feel a bit uncomfortable. But it's just Nathan, isn't it? It's just Nathan. It's just where he is. It's just, and I bet that went on for years.
Yeah.
This wasn't anything new.
I mean, we might not know of anything that might have happened. Becky, if something else might have happened or worse things might have happened, Becky might not have said anything or felt
Yeah,
like she could say
absolutely.
anything. Like,
We'll never know, will we?
no, it's just awful.
Well, hopefully, I mean, Becky should just be remembered for who she was, and sort of not what was done to her, and not the focus not be on Nathan being an absolute psychopath, and just be about how she was clearly like a lovely, kind teenager who had nice friends that loved her and is missed by everyone that knew her. But like I said, if this episode or this subject has sort of brought up anything for anyone, just like make sure that you speak to people that you trust, your friends, your family, any sort of support services, because talking to people about things that they might pick up on something that you haven't, just by going, oh, well, actually this happened. And if you don't feel safe, just say something. I mean, I'm not going to go too into sort of what's happened with my child, but we've had an incident at the school, and it was questionable, and the school were really good about sort of acknowledging that what was said about my kid was taken very seriously. But it just makes you realise, I mean, that was stressed the hell out of me, but it just makes you realise how easily it can be done. And it's funny because I mean, I won't speak about the child. I don't know really the ins and outs, but the child that's made these comments came from a family where he's in foster care now, and it's what's he been exposed to? It does make you question what the root cause of it all, rather than it just being about the comments, it being about what he's been exposed to and what he thinks is acceptable, because he's going to grow up and be a man. He's going to grow up and be somebody that is going to have relationships with other people and have relationships with family, relationships with either men or women. And if he thinks this is normal, that's going to be a concern. And it's like, it needs to be addressed when they're young, rather than,
I mean,
it's
on a plus side of that, though, to kind of on the opposite like end of the spectrum, is that the comments he was saying to his friends, one of those friends kind of realised this is not right, I don't like this, and went and told a teacher. So there
well, it was
are
another boy that mentioned it to the teacher, because my child didn't know anything about it, and it was the fact that they're picking up on that. I mean, I even said my kid didn't even really understand what he said, because she doesn't. She's a kid, and that's what the teacher said. They were like, she's a child, why would she know? I think that was sort of the saving grace of it all. But why did this kid know about it? That was the concerning thing.
I know.
Yeah, it's we just need to make sure that we all keep talking, and make sure that we're all open and feel safe and feel heard, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, this was it is a tough one to cover. We're probably not been as jovial as we have been in like other episodes, but it's it's really tough. And rest in peace, Becky. Fuck you, Nathan Matthews and Shauna Hall. Burn in piss. Yeah, you literal whore.
I hope you have a chronic urine infection forever.
Damn. Nathan Matthews currently is serving his sentence at HMP Longlartin in Worcestershire, obviously where we live.
We don't want you here, Nathan.
Fucking hell. And Shauna Hall served half of her fucking sentence and was out in 2023. So she's walking around. If you're listening, Shauna, slag. There you go.
You're a slag.
Get bent on and stuff now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the story of Becky Watts' murder. Yikes.
It makes me realise what a sheltered and lovely life that I have. I might have certain people surrounding my life that I think are bumheads, but at least my close family and my close friends and the people that I choose to be around me are lovely and
Yes.
make my life better. And I'm just happy that I can give my children a nice, healthy, safe environment to grow up in, because it's just
Absolutely.
the sad reality that some people don't have that.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
guys. Shall we
deep,
move
so
on?
deep, so deep. But we're going to be
deep.
also recording some little shorts, aren't we? And some
Yes.
react videos, which will be a lot more jovial and a lot happier.
Yes.
So we'll be pumping some of those out for you.
I'm looking forward to doing those.
Yeah. So if we'll move on to the little segment
like this
that I like to put into the pods, and it is What's a Witch Been Watching? We did it last week, and we're just going to discuss some of the things that we have been devouring this week.
Yes. We've been sucking up.
What have you been watching, biatch?
Well, I think the question is, thank God, finally, Lindsay has watched a couple of films that I have recommended, and she's just took her heels in and was just like, nah.
I did my homework then.
You did, and you watched Apex and you watched Weapons. Good work. What did you think?
I did a little review.
You did.
On the Insta. So Apex, I mean, it's not a particularly long film, is it?
No, it's decent. Well,
it's about an hour and a half, I think it was. See, I think that's a short film because I watched like Lord of the Rings extended version, which is like 4.5
hours. That's a 24-hour jobby and then some.
So I'm like, an hour and a half. I can absolutely just smash that out. So I thought it was good. It's got a banging soundtrack. It's fast paced. The storyline isn't really it doesn't really need that much sort of brain power to understand what the crack is. It's not
an easy watch.
Yeah, it's easy. I don't know if Charlize Theron, I mean, she was a bit I understand the concept of she's had a bit of a shit time, but
I understood it as this is my take on it. I thought it was the portrayal of two functioning psychopaths. So you've got obviously is it Taron
Edgerton?
Yeah. So you've obviously got his unhinged, clearly psychotic psychopath.
Oh yeah,
serial killer, Fruit Loop, and then you've got Charlize, who's kind of she seems quite void of emotion.
Yes, I think that was probably it. How I was like, oh god, she was. You couldn't like her. I think there was just nothing about her that made me. No, nothing about her that made me like her. No. You know, usually there's characters that you're rooting for them, and this I was like, I don't know. It was good. It was quick. It was yes, and do you know what? At the end, I won't spoil. No spoilers, but at the end, I was kind of yeah, that's kind of what needed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was easy. I'd recommend it. I'd give it a watch. I think I said 7 out of 10. Matt said the same. We were it's a decent watch. I wouldn't be it's rubbish. Easy.
You literally turn your brain off and watch it and be this is
I could watch it again and be this is all right. Weapons. I thought Weapons was better. That was a bit more got your brain working. Yeah. The woman in it was scary as fuck. The way she
fucking love. Mate, I was literally about to say, I think you need an Aunt Gladys.
My god, yeah. I'm gonna maybe I should be here for Halloween. She is
sick of it.
Terrifying.
Yeah. Proper scary. Fantastic character though. There's nothing, I've not seen anything like her before.
No. And then there's
a prequel
to her. Some of the aspects of it as well. I don't think necessarily were scary, but they were gross. With the forks.
Oh yeah.
And the head smashing. I was like, ew. Gross.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. It really is.
It is good. I can't
wait for the film just about Gladys because I want to know more about her lore. I need the law.
What led her to that
Yeah.
event? I mean, the ending kind of made sense because I was like, why? I don't understand what her motive is to do this. Do you know what I mean? Like, why did she want these people to do these things? And then sort of at the end, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of get why she was doing it. But she got what was coming to her, didn't she?
She got her just desserts.
She 100% did.
The whole thing is it's almost like black comedy because when the kids are chasing her and she's just running for her life.
Yeah, it's funny.
Just
she's running through the houses.
Woman's getting ripped apart on my lounge by kids. What the fuck?
And the kids are like,
it's fantastic. I loved it.
But then you watched Stay Safe, didn't you?
I implore you to watch this weekend.
Okay. So that's got, what's the face in it?
Rachel McAdams. So Rachel McAdams is kind of like rom-com, girly.
Oh yeah, she's like a chronic rom-commer, isn't she? Yeah.
She's so good in this. Matt wasn't too keen on this. Matt was like, yeah, it's all right. But I'm a big fan of like Evil Dead. And Sam Raimi, the director, did Evil Dead, like the premises of Evil Dead. And it's kind of like a black comedy, I would say.
I like it when they've got little bits. It's like comedic value.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Some of it's like it's quite funny, but then you're like, oh, immediately you're turned because it kind of shifts.
You're like, shit.
The energy shifts.
Yeah.
So it's a woman who kind of is really undermined and bullied at work. They get into a pen clash with her boss. I know. Shocking. Her egotistical kind of horrible boss. They all get in a plane crash, and her and her boss on this like desert island, and she kind of helps them survive, but it's how the dynamic between them kind of goes along, and it's really gross in parts, and it's gross in parts, mate.
Right, okay. No spoilers,
but watch it, and I want to know what you think.
Okay, all right. I also watched Pet Sematary last night. The kids they just not, but I mean, there are aspects of it that you're like, oh, that's awful. But I didn't find it that scary. The one thing that grossed me out the most was the whole slicing of the Achilles tendon. It was not good.
I was giving Hostel vibes.
Oh, it was just like, I've got a thing about Achilles. I injured my Achilles as a kid. So anything to do with that, oh, God, it gets me.
Yikes.
And then at the end, I was like, oh, my God, because the little boy was there. And I was like, no. And then it ended. I was like, ooh. So... yeah, that was an easy watch. The kids weren't scared. I know they weren't because they were looking at their tablets and everything. So if they were scared, they would have been like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I felt like that was an easy watch. And there was still like aspects of it. And it's a classic, isn't it? Anything Stephen King, you're like, you've got to have watched it. So, and this was the new version because I know that there was obviously versions that were like, back in the day. So this was the newer version.
They remade it, didn't they?
Yeah.
A bit like It, when they did like...
Yeah.
When they did It, they remade that.
Yeah. So, and then any docs that you watched? I watched The Crash, but I think that was on Netflix.
Oh, you have watched it?
I feel I've watched something about that before because I knew everything about it.
Okay.
So I feel like there has been a documentary, but it wasn't that one. I think I've just watched something surrounding this. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. I've put it on my watch list.
So like the general sort of premise of the doc is that there's there's a group of kids, and then there's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, and then a friend. And they're in this car and the car crashes and some of them die, and they are trying to determine whether this girl had planned to do it or whether it was just an accident.
Oh, way to go.
Yeah, so I mean, some of it doesn't make sense to me, but I think you just have to watch it and come back next week and let me know what you think of it and we can discuss.
Okay.
It's not a particularly long one. I think it's literally like an hour and a half, one episode thing.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I like both a short, to the point documentary and I quite like a series if it's good.
Yeah. If it's got episodes. Like stuff that needs, I don't like it when the fillers, when they fill it with stuff and you're like, you could have got to the point in 2 episodes, but then you've dragged it out for 4.
I don't give a shit what the best friend's cousin thinks about all this. I don't care.
They do drag it out sometimes.
Worst ex ever.
You So
You
I've
quite
watched
like that, didn't you?
3 episodes of those on the second series. I've watched all of the first series before, and this is the second series. Second series is good. You don't need to watch the first one to watch the second one. You can watch.
Okay.
It's lots of different stories.
So is the second one the Wade?
Yes.
What is his name? Wade?
Yeah.
Wilson?
Yeah, the one with the face tats.
Face tats. Like everyone,
Yes.
all the girls are just like, oh my god, he's so bad.
Yeah.
I can make him good. Babe, no, you can't.
He's bad egg. Don't go near him.
Rotten to the core.
So, have you got over this book slump yet, love?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I kind of the book I'm reading, the horror book I'm reading, the Return to the Black Farm. It's kind of he's back at the Black Farm now, so we've got some action.
There.
We've got some.
Was
horror.
It a bit slow at the beginning?
Yeah,
You're like, come on.
It was, but I think that's just like my mind. Like I'm not the most patient person when it comes to.
I'm not.
Books sometimes.
You're like
I need,
let's get to it.
Let's get going. So I'm getting there. I'm hoping to finish it maybe by the end of tomorrow night, albeit well. But because I'm wanting to do a buddy read, like Gab. Hi Gab on TikTok. Gab is lovely.
It's like a little book club for you.
It is a little book club. I like doing kind of buddy reads because it's interesting to see other people's perspective. So the next book, me and Gab are gonna buddy read. Gab actually sent me this as a fairy mail. Like you put your wish list on Amazon.
Oh, that's kind of her.
Fairy mail. I know, she's very lovely. So Gab sent me Nightshade, Autumn Woods. So it's a bit of a fantasy.
Cool.
So I'm gonna give that a read next. I think.
You'll have to let me know. You know, I love a fantasy.
Are you still fucking tandem reading? What are you doing?
I decided I'm just going to finish reading one book and then reading the other. But do you know what? I've been so busy. I've just not read. Just trying to manage this and survive and do work. And then I just don't have the brain focus to read at the minute. So I'll just stick something on the telly. So I'm into my films at the minute, my films and my docs. So that's what I'm just going to roll with for a bit now.
Fair play, mate.
And then, because like you said, you've put on my little notes about the Fourth Wing. See, I've downloaded them. I've not read them yet.
Ooh,
I've not even. So that's. But I think what I need is once I've done Throne of Glass, I need to just read something that isn't fantasy.
I would read Fourth Wing after that.
No, I think I need something. I need something lighter and faster pace. Maybe not lighter. I I just want something that perhaps doesn't require so much world building and to remember so many facts about places and people. Because sometimes it's a bit like...
You need to just maybe read some horrors.
Yeah, I just need a straight book that doesn't need me to know anything about the next book. Or I just need something quick.
Horrors, mate.
Yeah, something quick and impactful, that's interesting, that I can just read quick. I don't want something slow. I need something quick.
Yeah.
That I
don't
can.
Read Fourth Wing. I mean,
don't. Is it going to be shit? No, are you going to say it's poo?
No. I'm not.
You've read something better.
Yeah. Well, I thought Akatar was far better than Fourth Wing.
Right.
Fourth Wing's in a different kind of league, though. Like the first book, Fourth Wing, great. I loved it. It was fantastic. Then you get onto Iron Flame. It's a lot more political, slower, and then you get onto Onyx Storm, and
I think Nicole said the same thing. Nicole's coming round later. I'll have a chat with her about it, because she said as well that I don't think she's read the last book or the last few, because she was just got halfway through it and was just like, ugh.
Iron Flame slog, mate.
Maybe it's that one that she's just like, oh, I can't be bothered.
It's a slog.
So I'll have a chat with her.
Yeah, see what she thinks. And see,
cool.
But I think I would be invested in watching the series. I reckon that is going to be.
Oh yeah, I'd absolutely devour the series, because I wouldn't need to read.
Focus.
It's trying to remember who is who and who lives where and what they're doing and when they're doing it. I think that's. I mean, Throne of Glass, I've kind of I get it now because I've read flipping loads of the books, but it's when it's the initial start of it, you're like, because you were a bit like that with Akatar, weren't you? Like, what the fuck is going on? Who are these bitches? what is this fucking like monster thing? You were like, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get it. And I was like, girl, you've got to keep going, because that
And I
is
did.
like, because I started reading it first and I was like, I'm not going to like this. And then I kept going and I was like, ooh, because if anything, the first book, it's just laying the law, isn't it? It's just setting it up for the rest of the series. Whereas I find those books the hardest, because you're like, I've just got to get through it so I know what the crack is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, my favourite is Silver Flames. Like, I thought I fucking hated the guts of Nesta, but I want to be a Valkyrie now.
It's funny because I really disliked Nesta, even in Silver Flames, until I listened to the interview with Call Her Daddy, and I was like, oh my God, it makes total sense. And she was like, I was writing this when I was going through, you know, personal, and it's like, it makes total sense, because, I mean, we've both had our own sort of mental health demons and, you know, times have been really hard. And you're like, yeah, I kind of understand why you're being a total bitch, because
self-destruction,
like I completely get it. You're like, oh, stop being such a bloody miserable wet wipe and just pull yourself together. But actually, you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
But she's so fucking hateful sometimes. So you just think,
I mean, we can be, can't
managed it. Oh yeah, mate. But we kind of manifest that hatefulness not towards each other, but we vent it out. I think to each other quite good.
Yeah. Another thing when I was talking about no one needs to see our private conversations, because we're just like singing to the people.
No. Dear God, no. They will forever remain private. Thanks and please. But yeah, we'll definitely do an episode dedicated to ACOTAR once. The 3 books are coming out, because.
But then they're all like, oh, you need to read all of this. You need to read all of a series to read this last book. I think that's a load of shit.
No, you don't.
Why would she do that? Why would she have a load of books from ACOTAR and then be like, actually, you've got to read all this other shit before... No, I ain't doing that.
Apparently, like, Throne of Glass and the
Crescent City?
Crescent City series, it's all
Crescent City somehow. Is meant to be like, that is the biggest world building malarkey ever.
The size of the book. I've got the first book. Where is it? It's here.
Crescent City.
I've got the first book, and I was like, yeah. Now I've read ACOTAR, I want to. That one. Have you seen the size of it?
Yeah, they're just ginormous. But that's the same with Kingdom of Ash. Is like
hefty.
Yeah. But I need to read it because apparently it's the best one. I just want to get through these fucking books so I can read the good book.
You got it. You got this.
I can do it.
But yeah, I would say thank you. Thank you, everyone, for
listening.
We are now at like 600 subscribers
on Instagram.
Yeah,
please like this video and subscribe, because we want to build our lovely spooky community of coven of deliciously sexy witches. We want you all to join us, and we can go through life together. If you've got any questions or you want us to cover anything, we will happily oblige. Stick it in the comments or drop us a DM or whatever you want to do. We're literally on every single platform you think of. So you can listen to us now on Apple, you can listen to us on Spotify, you can listen to us on Amazon
Music
here.
YouTube.
We are also on Instagram, which is where we just sort of share little snippets of what's been going on, a bit of personal life, and then TikTok too. So, and then I did start a Snapchat, but I'm going to be honest.
For fuck's sake.
I'm old and I don't really know what I'm doing. My 10-year-old had to set it up for me.
Oh, Jesus. Snapchat is like, it gives me
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm 36.
Matt downloaded Snapchat because Will likes the
filters.
The filters.
Yeah, it's the only thing. But I still don't know what I'm doing. But that's fine.
I wish you well with that.
Thank you, God bless. Right. Anyway, let's get on with our day.
Yeah.
So, stay spooky, darling.
Stay spooky, darling.